Alright, here with Steve Fisher, we're doing some frontside 180s. Frontside 180s, it's not the most epic trick. No one gets that stoked about them, but it's the foundation for a ton of tricks. So you got to be able to learn really good frontside 180s. There's two ways to do it, and you got to make a distinction between them. One is off the heels from a heel side carve, the other is off the toes. Off of the heels, probably a lot easier for some people. Off of the toes, you can physically jump though and get a lot more pop. Both ways should be learned. And I'm gonna show some cheater methods without even needing little jumps, where you can just be riding on the regular old run and jump and ollie and do a 180 off little bumps. That's probably the easy way to do it. Side hits, if you are doing side hits, make sure you're not jumping out into the middle of a run somewhere. But yeah, just frontside 180s. It's an easy one. You got to be able to ride switch though, and just anytime you're working on carving, that's going to help this a ton, because you're carving into 180 and carving away from it. So one's a heel side to heel side. That's what's going to help prevent from over rotating. The other's toe side to toe side. Yeah, frontside 180s. Let's go do some
frontside 180s.
You got any tips?
I think you've covered almost everything. The only thing that I would say is to be sure to bring your knees up to your chest, so that way you're not, doing that weird stick figure 180. You obviously want it to look good and kids to notice, so just be sure to bring your knees up to your chest and have that nice, kind of typical athletic stance while doing it.
Perfect. Let's go do. Alright, so there's two distinct ways to do a frontside 180. One's off the toes, one's off the heel. I'm going to do all off the heels on this one. But basically you want to think of a nice smooth heel side carve and just pop off of that. All right, frontside 180s. Here's a kind of a cheater method on just regular old runs. You should work on this. You don't even have to ollie. You could just do the motions. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut across the run from one side towards, on my heel side towards the left. I'm a regular footer, so if you're goofy, just switch it over. But basically I'll cut across, I'll do a little ollie, and then I'm gonna not even do a full 180. It's gonna be less than a 180. That makes me land on my heel side, and then I'm gonna absorb with my knees and ride away, switch heel. So one, if you can't ride switch yet, learn how to really carve and ride switch good. But let's go do some of these, and then the opposite version too, where I'll be cutting across on my toe side, and I'll jump and literally just ollie and frontside 180, land on my toes, and switch carve out that way. So Steve's gonna tape some. Here we go. Okay, so Steve was doing the version where he's doing the full 180 and going over to the other edge. That's good. Just make sure it takes a little more pop and a little more rotation, but just make sure you know what edge you want to be landing on. You can kind of cheat the trick a little bit by going under 180 degrees, but either way, just practicing them over and over on the regular run, even if you don't catch air, even just practicing that motion, frontside 180 and riding away smooth. Frontside one half cab, switch frontside 180. It's not a half cab, but it's called that often. But just doing that motion over and over will really help. Let's go back to the jump, do some 180s. All right, this time I'm gonna take off of my toes on these 3 jumps. And basically, the only thing you need to worry about is if you start rotating too early, you can actually catch your edge and the tail kinda. So just be a little patient, but you can go slower too, because you can literally physically just jump off of your toes. So here we go. So that last one I went a little bigger than I wanted, and I did switch over to my heels. But yeah, just I personally like, usually if I take off the toes, land on the toes, take off the heels, land on the heels. That makes it really clean most of the time and prevents you from over rotating. But if you start over rotating in the air, then you will have to switch over. And Steve's gonna demonstrate one off of the toes now. Alright, so there's some frontside 180s, both off the heels and off the toes. It's not that epic of a trick, but it's definitely a basic trick that you need to be able to do very consistently if you want to progress to other spins. It's one of the things about it is it's so easy because you literally just get to look at your landing the whole time. Any other rotation, whether it be a backside 180, or anything over 360, you have to be blind at some point. So that just that frontside 180 and the switch frontside 180, you get to watch the takeoff the whole way, watch that landing coming, and all you gotta do is kind of pivot the board around you. The only nerdy things you don't want to do is take off the jump completely straight. Like if you see like beginner skiers and stuff, they'll have this kind of highway hit right in the middle of it. You don't want to do that. That's where it'll be a gray area with what edge you're taking off. You really want to have it planned in your mind, whether it's a nice toe side carve pop or heel side carve pop. Any other last thoughts on frontside 180s?
No, that's good. You know, I think one of the biggest things to remember is it's only a 180, so it's very easy to over rotate. So just be sure that you are smooth and fluid all the way through.
Yep, you don't have to wind up much or anything. It's really an easy one. You can play around with it even on the ground, just working through the motions, and then take it to small jumps. And yeah, it's not that rad of a one, but I mean, I can't ever think of getting stoked doing frontside 180s. But next, how about frontside 360s? There's a trick that used to make me happy.
Me too.
You want to do some of those?
I'll do those.
Let's do those. Frontside 360.